Hello and welcome to another Jog Vlogs on coastal landscapes, which is part of the UK's changing landscapes topic. This is the final session on coastal landscapes before we then move on to looking at river landscapes. So today you're going to be getting your case study. So you're going to be looking at the Holderness coast, which is found in eastern England, not in East Anglia. This is actually a bit further north of East Anglia, but this is very well documented. It also fits in with Seneca, which uses this same case study, and I believe the revision guides too. So the Holderness coast is the one we're going to use, and we've got loads and loads of information on the Holderness coastline too, which is pretty helpful. So you need to carry out an in-depth investigation into a specific location, but what I need you to be aware of is just the whole purpose of us using any case study. It is not a guarantee that you will get a question that requires you to quote information from Holderness. It used to be the case in a lot of GCSEs where they would essentially insist on you memorizing information about specific locations, and in some exam questions that is necessary. They will specify in some exam questions that you will do, but not in every single one. And there hasn't actually been much of a requirement so far in the papers for you to learn and memorize specific details about a coastal landscape or a river landscape. But that does not mean it's not going to come up, and it also doesn't mean that it's not useful to know, because case studies really help your understanding. And there is a revision PowerPoint in the GCSE revision playlist that actually talks to you specifically about case studies and the importance of case studies and where you might find them. Especially useful ones in this specification. So the Holderness coast is the one that we're going to use, and you need to know essentially three things. Where Holderness is, the physical processes that are causing it to change, the human processes that are causing it to change or not change, and the future of Holderness. So effectively, you are summarizing the stuff that you've been learning about how coastal processes and human actions can affect the coastal landscape, and this is your chance to kind of tie it into a specific place that demonstrates that information. So I've just mentioned all this, okay, from the spiel I've just mentioned, so I'm going to skip on to this one. It says here, and if you're in class, I might give you 2 lessons, depending on how harsh I am, I might give you 1. But effectively, you want to try and summarise the information about Holderness onto one A3 side, so 2 pages of your exercise books, okay? And within each one, you want to try and include location detail, so where Holderness is, maybe get a map of it. Not that you'll need to do a map in an exam, but just so you can help your understanding and situate it in a UK location. The physical processes causing it to change, so like the weather, the climate that's there, the geology that you find in that area, the destructive wave types, okay, all of those things, but specific to Holderness. How is Holderness being affected? But also, give me some stats. How much of Holderness is eroding per year? What locations is it more affected? Then look at the human processes causing it to change. So the human processes could be to do with it increasing erosion. It could be to do with it decreasing erosion, but anything that humans are doing on the Holderness coastline area to change it. So are they building sea defences in certain places? For example, in Mappleton, they've built a big rock groin. What's that done to the area south of Mappleton, for example? And then just a brief bit about maybe looking at the future of Holderness and what it's in for, basically, with regards to sea level rise, and maybe look at the management strategies in Holderness. Now, the way I'd like you to do this, because the Highland Cow textbook's not particularly good actually for Holderness in lesson time, so actually the internet is better. Now on 365 there is a set of information, it's called a carousel of information, which actually does give you loads of detail about Holderness. Not necessarily in these headings, but the information that is provided there will help you fill in these headings a little bit. But I've also got a starting point which I want the bare minimum everyone to have, okay, and that is here. So this is my kind of half summary for you about the geology of Holderness, a map location, physical processes that are causing it to change, and human processes. Now, if this is all you do, just copying this out, then that's okay. It's not gonna, you're not gonna get in trouble if you haven't added extra stuff. But you might want to improve your understanding about the Holderness coast, and there is so much documented about this on the internet that if you googled Holderness coast case study, or Holderness, Yorkshire, coastal erosion, or something like that, you'll find videos on YouTube, you'll find websites dedicated to it where you can add to your notes. Okay, and that's quite important. I think that if you're aiming for grade 6 plus, you should be adding maybe a bit to your notes just to help improve your overall depth of understanding or knowledge about this specific place. Now remember, you won't necessarily get a whole exam question just on Holderness, but you may well get questions that will benefit from you inputting a bit of data or a bit of specific information about Holderness. So please bear that in mind when it comes to the sort of more the lengthier explained for 4 marks questions. All right, that is actually the end of the coast topic. So I would dedicate a good solid hour to doing this task that I've set you. Again, this should be your starting point, and then any additional research, even if it's just watching a video about Holderness to improve your understanding, is definitely worthwhile. Okay, I will leave you to it. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time for the very first session on the rivers part of this topic, paper 1, topic 1. Thank you for listening.